So when I first met Kotso, he was a photographer that came through to shoot. It was an Arise South Africa political event. It was actually one of our first events. And he came through, he shot with the team, and he basically gelled with the team. He came from Gordon Harris, which is one of the biggest photography companies in South Africa. And after chatting to him, he spoke to me a lot about photography, but I was like, okay, interesting world, don't really fully understand it. But yeah, we've started working together, and one of the things that he's always advocated for is to say that as a business, Reason Media should branch into photography, open up photography studios and get more involved there. I'm really starting to think about it and really look at it differently and really see it as something that could really explode and do very well. So yeah, it's something that we could really investigate. Hi, good morning. How are you? Very beautiful studio you have here.
Thank you.
Let me just give Joe directive just to bring the other clothes and stuff. No, they're here, but I just need him to bring them in.
I normally plan my shoots is I create a mood board, I gather a range of pictures. So you can kind of see, I don't know if it's focused or if you can see that. But yeah, it's like different inspiration for poses and the different lighting. So this is like an emerald green background with some nice like orange rim lighting. So I want to replicate this exact same photo, same pose, same colors, lighting and everything. And I mean, even getting inspiration from women. Obviously this is a studio, so we are sort of limited to the background that we have, but I think even the posing is quite nice to see it. Bright red one with the blocks. Yes, that's the one. A bit more. And then you can button the top button. Yeah, fully in.
Yeah, it was such a great day. I mean, shooting, seeing the pictures, trying the different backgrounds. It was an interesting day. I really enjoyed it. I think it's important that everybody goes for photo shoots once in a while just to make sure that you've got the right pictures. But yeah, we've really got a good number of photos for thumbnails. Check out our thumbnails. They're going to be quite popping with some of these new images that we're going to be doing. So I'm excited. So I really like to think of myself as a shareholder in Reason Media because I think I've got so many things that I'm doing that, running a media company definitely needs somebody who is dedicated to do it. But one of those things that I've kind of realized, I think I'm that type of person that whenever I'm involved in something, I always give it my best. And one of the things that I've sort of realized that's going on within the media space is a lot of AI is coming in, and also a lot of non-AI advocates are also coming in, And I think it reminds me of the time when I started cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and when we started cryptocurrency, we had the bankers saying this thing is going to die, it will never work. And we had us, the cryptocurrency guys, saying, you know what, we're going to do it, we're going to conquer it, we're going to do very well. And I said to the team at Reason, I said, I've been to Adobe in the US, and when you check out Adobe, they're a company worth over $200 billion. And everybody's always used Adobe for editing, use Adobe for everything. And, Adobe reminds me of the banks, the big banks that everybody trusted, And you've got these AI apps like Veed, NVIDIA, all these new AI editing apps. And they're sort of like, the little Bitcoins that are starting up. And for me, in my mind, I was thinking to say, one of the things that I think is important is we need to make sure that if you're in the media space, if you want to be relevant and, compete at a level of Adobe and everybody else is in media, you kind of need to join the smaller Bitcoins and help them grow so that you can catch up to the big giants. And that's what I was saying to the team at Reason. I was saying to them that, look, we can't necessarily compete with Hollywood because Hollywood will always be Hollywood in terms of the equipment, proximity, and the way that they do things. But we can compete in a new thing because that we all have access at the same time. And that's really AI. So I've been encouraging the team to say, let's use AI. So we got, some AI platforms, and we're using Adobe AI podcast to help with the audio, which is really fast. We're using Veed to edit. And some of the guys are into it. But after a while, that feeling of like, I'm coming out of my comfort zone, I'm uncomfortable, it creeps in. Then you sort of see the guys resisting to be like, I tried Veed, but nope, I want to go back to Premiere, or nope, I want to go back to DaVinci. And I think it's a similar thing that everybody experiences because change is so weird. But the one thing I'm kind of realizing is that if you would suffer the change and enforce the change, a year, 2 years from now, you sort of become the winner. And I think that's the story of Bitcoin. And I know it's a weird analogy, but you sort of become the Bitcoin. I always say to people that when we got involved in Bitcoin, it was almost nothing. It was slow. The networks used to go down. People used to lose their crypto. It was problematic, but we kept at it. And now that it's almost commercial, everybody knows what Bitcoin is. We became experts. Why? Because when it was starting, we started with it. So I'm really pushing the team to say, when it comes to AI, producing through AI, working with AI, using AI, understanding AI, really pushing the team that we really get there, we use it, we test it, we understand it, so that when AI is now a normal thing, we are at the front because we took time to actually do it. But it does come with a few issues. We have had a few backlog. Some of the guys have informed me that some of the people that we produce shows for are complaining to say, they don't like this quick way of color grading, or they don't like certain things that these new apps can't do. And I think it's part of the business. Whenever there's change, it will never be perfect. But I think the sweet spot is perfecting the new so that when everybody else adopts to the new, you sort of become the master. And I think I did that with cryptocurrencies, and I've seen how beneficial it can be. So yeah, I think, in whatever business or industry you're in, one of the things I want to tell you is that always look for something new that you can grow with. Don't look for something that is not new, because what happens, and let me give you a practical example. Let's say, for example, you're in the editing industry and you've always used Adobe is the biggest. You've always used Adobe. You're comfortable with Adobe and you become the expert in Adobe, right? When something new comes, because you're so good at something old, you sort of focus on the old because that's what you're good at, right? The new is daunting. I'm not sure. I have to learn. It's confusing. But what begins to happen over time is the market changes and people start saying, oh, I need an editor that can use AI. And you're like, no, I use Adobe. I don't use AI. And at first, you come across as confident, you know what you're doing. But later on, you become obsolete. And I saw that a lot with a lot of industries. People that stuck to what they knew. They didn't like any new thing. They were rigid. And over time, they close shop. They die out. So I think an important thing in whatever you're doing, whatever industry, it could be in medicine, it could be in health, it could be logistics, whatever industry you're in, my advice is look at what is new, get involved in it, and become the expert in the new. Because I think that's the fastest way to grow. And even when I look back, the industries that I've made a lot of money from, I was always first to the party. Industries where I sort of made, good money. I came in after other people had come in and I sort of made, money that everybody else was making. So that's what I've been pushing the Reason guys to do, to say, guys, let's really go in hard and let's become the first AI media agency in South Africa, in the world, where from production to post-production, from pre-production to production, to post-production, and even executing. We're using tools that nobody else is using. We're learning, we're uncomfortable, we're growing. And I think that's really where the big gap is. And yeah, of course, everybody will eventually use it. But what matters here is, were you first? Do you understand it, and how do you leverage so that when everybody else comes on board, you're already miles ahead? So we're trying to do that, and I think, we just want to be forward thinking and make sure that we do that. And it's been an interesting journey, but in any business you're in, always try and find what's the new, get onto the new, and push with the new as much as you can so that you open that gap. When everybody else wakes up, they have to come to you as the master because you know it all, and for them, it's still new. A friend of mine, Usia, had his 40th birthday this past weekend, and he invited me through, and boy, it was amazing. 10 out of 10. One of the things that I loved about it was the performances. He had gospel artists there. Koli was there, which I love. Kaya was there. The family members with Kaya. And it was beautiful. And it was one of those parties that when you left, you were like, I want to do more. I want to do better. I want to live more. I want to, live more with intent. From the speeches, the pastors that were there, the worship sessions, the food. The theme was Royal Zulu. So I had to get myself a Zulu outfit, and I think I look good in it. What a great time that we had at that party. And happy birthday. It's so beautiful to see you living in your purpose and doing so well. And may God just continue to bless you. And may it be an amazing, amazing couple of decades coming up. He was celebrating his 40th birthday. What a time. What a party. What a performance. What a great time.